Hi guys, welcome back. It is absolutely freezing cold here, so I thought it would be a pretty good time to go over some of the clothing I wear for my outdoor stuff when I'm on the shooting ranges and I'm trying to keep warm in the winter. I've changed it up this season for a couple of reasons. So cards on the table, the brand I'm about to review I am actually working for, but none of these items I've received through that work. So I've paid my own money for all these items. I actually bought them before I started there, but I kind of knew I was going across to the brand, so I thought, why not represent the brand I'm working for. I haven't been able to find a huge amount online about the clothing range. It's Beretta, and they have a really extensive clothing range for hunting, tactical, competition. Probably a lot of people have seen their competition gear, you know, on the clay ranges and stuff, skeet vests and so on, but maybe not so many people have had eyes on their hunting gear and their tactical gear. So I'm wearing some hunting gear. I will be getting some tactical stuff as well, and I'll be bringing that to you. But I just wanted to go over this because I'm actually really pleased with what I've bought. Now, like most quality hunting clothing, none of this stuff is particularly cheap. You know, if you're comparing it to things you can buy, you know, in a standard clothes shop, a warm jumper or whatever, these are not coming out cheap. But if you compare it to the premium hunting brands, your Harkeelers and that kind of thing, it's actually pretty reasonably priced. But, you know, none of them are easy on the pocket. So we'll get that out of the way to start with. I'll sort of give some basic prices, at least what I've paid for. And, you know, you can make up your own mind about that. We've all got different criteria how we cost things out. You know, when I cost in some clothing for cold weather wear, if I'm going to be outdoor all day, then I really want to be warm. That's the main thing, you know. And I've, in the past, when I was younger and I didn't have so much money, I used to buy, you know, the cheapest possible stuff from the army surplus store or whatever I could get my hands on. And frankly, I suffered. You know, it wasn't ideal. It didn't do the job properly, and it left me freezing cold most of the time, or wet through, or both. So if you do spend the money, what you do end up being is warm, comfortable. And to me, that's worthwhile, because you can buy a lot of different cheap garments to try and get somewhere, and actually you should have just bought a decent one in the first place. I always say it, buy once, cry once. You know, it hurts you and you might cry when you originally get your card out and pay, but 2 or 3 years later, when you're still wearing that item and it's still functioning as it should be, you're probably going to be very happy about it, whereas the other ones you would have been disappointed with and replaced multiple times. So these items are all from the, I think it's the Evo Tech range from Beretta. If you go on the e-store, you can find some stuff on there, and a lot of it's in the hunting category. So I'm obviously wearing the jacket at the moment, and underneath that I've got a zip up cardigan, which is supposed to be one of Beretta have got like a layered technology going on. So I think this is like a mid layer that I've got underneath, and then I've got another of their mid or upper layers here, a jumper. So I'll do this one first because it's the one I haven't got on. So to all intents and purposes, it looks like a standard fleece. It's very well made. It's got some webbing strengthening there around the zip. The zips on all these things are fantastic. One of my bugbears when I buy this kind of stuff is that the zips just don't work as they should, and they start messing you around, and that is not good. And you can see here it's got the Beretta Clothing modular system, and it says number 2 layer there. So just give you a view of the back. It has got a Beretta logo on there, as you can see, and then obviously it zips right up at the neck like so. It's this really soft fleece material, which I like as a mid layer, because it holds a lot of air, and that's one of the things that helps to keep you warm. One of the things I've noticed about this, I don't know how they've done it with the material, But I've had other fleeces like this a lot cheaper, like I said before, you know, buying sort of stuff from Tesco's or some, you know, budget store or whatever that's in that kind of fleece material. And I've had two issues. Number one, they've ripped quite easily previously, that type of material. And number two, I sweated like anything in them. You know, when you get it on, they do feel warm, a bit like the cheap onesies you can buy. You can find these things on Amazon and eBay, and they're like £15 or whatever, and you put them on and they kind of feel nice and warm, but then you end up sweating yourself half to death and you have to take them off. So that's useless. You know, you're never going to be able to wear that all day. And if you end up dripping in sweat, it's dangerous. You know, if you're in really cold conditions and you're sweating a lot, and as soon as you stop moving, that can be a really dangerous situation. With this, I haven't had any problems with that. You know, it isn't a sweaty top at all. It seems to be easy to breathe through, but it does keep me really, really warm. So I thoroughly recommend that. I just bought that on a whim as a kind of, I needed an extra warm jumper one day when I was going out shooting. I had put this one in the wash, so I stopped off at the gun store, bought that one. I'm really pleased I did. It's probably one of the warmest tops I've got as a kind of mid layer. I'd probably wear like a thermal t-shirt, then maybe a long sleeve t-shirt over that, and then I would put that on as a mid layer and then throw a jacket on as well, and you're going to be super warm in most conditions in that. This isn't specialized Arctic kit, so this is, you know, if you're going out shooting in England, Scotland, cold areas of America, stuff like that, it's not designed for you know, -30 in the Arctic or Iceland or whatever. So if you've got specialist requirements like that, you're going to need to go into a significantly specialist sector and buy your clothes. This jacket, again, it's their Evo range again. I think they call it Evo Tech. It uses their Beretta waterproof membrane technology, which obviously tells you it's waterproof. One of the things I notice about it being waterproof, it's very easy to move around in. It's not too noisy, as you can hear. You know, I'm moving around in that. It's not crinkling and crunching around, which is really, really important for hunters. It's a nice fit. Everything's pretty snug on there, which is what you want. You don't want sort of bits hanging out and getting snagged up on trees. It's got really nice big pockets, so they are plenty big enough to fit a packet of 25 cartridges in. You could put them in either side, so if you're out with the shotgun shooting, you can definitely shoot in this. Then on the side, you've got your hand warmer pockets in there as well. Really, really robust zip with a little tag hanging off it. They are YKK zips on here, nice and easy to do up and down, and it's got a separate set of poppers that go over the top. And what I do like about this is you can actually zip it right up, and that's also comfortable, keeps you really warm. I've had some jackets with this feature before, and they're so tight around the neck because I've got a pretty thick neck that it's too uncomfortable to wear. This is absolutely perfect. It's snug enough to keep the wind out, but it's not uncomfortable at all. And then it does come with a detachable hood, which when you put that up, you can see you get really, really good coverage on that. It's got a little peak piece at the front that will keep your hat dry if, like me, you're wearing a hat. Velcro on the sleeves, so you can cinch those up and again make them nice and tight to your hand so they're not getting in the way of your gun or anything like that. You have two hand warmer pockets up above as well, so you've got the lower ones in those large pockets, but if you do have cartridges in there, you can use these upper hand warmers. And the other thing with them is that if you're carrying the gun through your arm, then they're ideal position that you can just hook the gun over and keep your hands in those pockets there. You've got an interior pocket in one side, so that would be ideal for if you're taking out a firearms license or you've got any documents or a wallet, phone, etc. You want to keep that safe and close to the body, then you can keep that in there. You have also got drawstring on the bottom, so if you want to stop the wind whipping up there, you can just draw that tight, no problem at all. Now it's got these hooks here. It did actually come with a set of Beretta braces, and they are designed so basically they're hooked through the back of the jacket. They would go down each side of your arms like a pair of braces, and then if you were doing something really heavy duty, so let's say you had been out hunting, you now have to process what you've shot, and it's going to take, you know, half an hour, and it's really hard work, which it is. It's hard, sweaty work. You can basically just take this jacket off and it will stay on your back via those braces, and then you can just carry on doing your work, you know, whatever hard work you've got to do without a bulky jacket on that's obviously going to cause you to sweat and get really overly hot. And you haven't got to chuck your jacket on the ground in the snow or the mud and risk getting the inside wet, so that when you put it on it's uncomfortable. You can literally leave it hanging off your back. It's not going to cause you to overheat. And then once you're done, you can just slip your arms back into the jacket, put it back on. I took those out. They're basically very easy to take on and off. They just slip through a couple of loops in the jacket. I won't particularly wear that. You know, I'm not going sort of into the wilderness for days on end and doing anything like that. And if I get a bit sweaty out on a hunt and go back home, it's no big deal. But if you were someone that was in serious conditions and maybe staying out overnight, then that would be a real benefit for you. So this is a great jacket. I absolutely love it. You know, it's super comfortable. It's been really warm. A couple of days I used it for some clay shooting. I try not to, when I can, you know, shoot in bulky clothes when I'm clay shooting, but sometimes you have to come to a point of balance, you know, that you want to be comfortable and free when you're clay shooting, and shoot in whatever gear you would sort of wear year round. So that's normally for me like a shirt or a light jumper and a skeet vest. But if you start adding bulk to that, it kind of messes with your length of pull a bit. It throws you off your game a tiny bit. You can get used to it and get back on it again, but it's certainly something you don't want to do unless you really need to. But it actually came to a point when I was shooting when it was in minus figures for temperature, and that meant basically I'd be shivering, and you cannot shoot clays if you're shivering uncontrollably. That's going to really throw you off your game, and you're not going to be able to get back on it at all. It's just going to get worse and worse. So when it gets that cold, I'm going to wear a jacket. Some people I've seen bring a bulky jacket like this and then put it on between shoots, but actually I was so cold that I just couldn't have shot comfortably in anything other than a bigger jacket. So this was fine. It isn't too bulky, you know, it's actually surprisingly warm for how much bulk it's got to it. And movement wise, it's actually got some built-in panels on this jacket that do allow really free movement. I've got lots and lots of movement on this, no problem at all. And they're designed to basically stretch and flex with the body, so it's ideal if you're doing anything active like that. The hood is completely detachable by a couple of poppers that are actually hidden away in there to keep them out of the weather conditions, and a zip easily to do yourself. You can just reach behind and detach it and attach it as you wish. I've left it on there, but if you don't need a hood, then you might want to take it off. You might prefer the look of the jacket without. And to be honest, I've been wearing this jacket. I keep it in the back of the car, and whenever it's cold, if I'm out and about and I haven't got much with me, then I'll just grab it out the boot, stick it on, and it's been great. And a couple of people have even commented and said, "Oh, I like that jacket, man, where'd you get that?" So it obviously doesn't look too bad either, and it's not screaming out tactical. So if you had to go and do a school run or shoot into the office or whatever, and you put this on, it's not covered in molle webbing and, you know, tactical pouches and all that kind of stuff, and a million different pockets, which if you've got uses for those things, then yeah, of course you need them, but they're not probably something that you want to go around town in. This is just something you can chuck in the back of the motor, stick on, and you can look pretty normal. You're not going to stand out like a sore thumb. On the back, you can see it's got a little bit of a Beretta design and a different material mix there, which is basically this technology that allows the stretch and movement. But yeah, very pleased with it indeed. I've worn it in the rain, been completely waterproof, no problem at all, and I'm sure if you wanted to waterproof it further, you could apply a bit of spray waterproofing to it, but I found I haven't needed any of that. It's kept the rain off me absolutely fine. When I got it home, you know, it was perfectly dry on the inside. I checked it all, and I think I paid for this about £200. So like I said, it's not a super cheap jacket, but when you look at what you can pay for a hunting jacket, you know, you can easily pay £500 upwards for a decent hunting jacket that keeps you warm and dry in England. So I don't think this was such bad value for money. Underneath that, we've got this Beretta zip up top. As you can see, zip down the front. Again, exactly the same toggle on the zips. We've got a zip there with an extra large pocket on that side. And I'm guessing if you wanted, again, if you were not wearing a jacket, you could keep your hand in there to keep it warm. Hang a gun over there. And then you've got two zipped pockets either side, there and there. Strengthening around the cuffs, and they're a little bit elasticated. So really, really good. And as you can see in here, you've got strengthening around the zip as well. And then inside, you've got a mesh weave type material. So again, I haven't got overly hot in this. It keeps you really cool when you need to be, you know, moving around and you're doing lots of work. That's the main thing, that you're not sweating like mad in it. Beretta badge on the side, just like the jacket. We've got some slightly different material and also on the arms there, which gives it a bit of flex. So just like the jacket we spoke about, it's nice and easy to move around in, plenty of movement, there's no restriction there at all. And for this, I think I paid just over £100. I think it was about £110, £115, something like that. If you go on the e-store, there'll be pricing on there from Beretta, but I would suggest you shopping around at your local gun shops. If they've got a Beretta clothing section, take a look. You know, sometimes you'll find a bargain, a sale item there. And you can also check out eBay and Amazon. They've got plenty of this stuff knocking around on there as well, and sometimes again you find it at a really good price. If you're a unusual size, you will no doubt find some bargains on there, because I often see like small, extra small and XXL and triple XL up on clearance items on there, because they're probably sizes that the shops haven't managed to shift for a while and they're just having a new inventory. If you're medium or large, I'm a large normally. All this stuff is large in the Beretta sizing for me. So I've got a 42 to 44 inch chest, a 32-inch waist, and I'm very, very comfortably snug in a large fitting. But if you're those sizes, you're probably not going to find so many clearance and sale items online, because everyone wants those sizes. If I wanted to be ultra warm, which I haven't done yet, but you could in fact wear all these three together, I'd probably wear this below, chuck that fleecy green one on top, and then the jacket on top of that, and you would be absolutely snug, perfectly warm in that. But obviously the more you add, the more you're going to have sort of restriction, and just in terms of bulk of clothing. So you're going to have to make a judgment call based around the weather conditions and of course how much you want to move. It might be that you're in a static hide. If that's the case, you can put on as many layers as you like, because you're probably not going to be moving very far. So a big thumbs up for me for the Beretta clothing range that I've been trying. I will bring you guys some more as I get hold of it. There will probably be some items I get through work, and if I do, then I'll let you know that I got them through work, because, you know, I try and keep things honest on here. I'm obviously not going to slag the company off that I'm working for. I'll be straight about that. What I would have done is just not review the gear. You know, I wouldn't have mentioned it, basically. If I was unhappy with it for any reason, I would have probably taken my concerns to the guys that are in charge of this department and told them why I was unhappy with it, but I certainly wouldn't have made a video. The fact that I've bought this and then put a video out is because I'm very happy with it. And that's what I try to do on the channel. There's no point in me bringing you stuff that I'm just going to be negative about. I'm not a big fan of you know, knocking companies for no specific reason. That will do me no favors, and frankly it doesn't do anyone else any favors. I'm just here to bring you the stuff that I've worn, appreciated, used, really like. It's performed well, and I'm gonna bring you the lowdown on it. If it hasn't, I won't bring it to you. It's as simple as that. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to drop them below, and I hope you're all having a great new year. Take care.